Hello second class students. In this lecture on the old man and the sea, I'm going to talk about the dialogical interaction between the boy and the old man while they are sitting in the terrace. As well as I'm going to comment on the narrative techniques presented by the narrator when he shows to us the type of dialogical interaction between the two. Also, I'm going to talk about the other examples or extra types of successful relationship between the old man and the boy. Now, this part in the story, The Old Man and the Sea, is related to the dialogue happened in the terrace between the boy and the old man. They are talking together. The boy asked the old man how old he was when he was taken in a boat for fishing. The old man told the boy was 5, and he was nearly killed when he brought the fish in too green and he nearly tore the boat to pieces. The boy told that he remembered everything from the first time they went together. Santiago told the boy that if he were his father, he would take him out and gamble. But he was his parents' son and not his. And now he was in a luckier boat. The old man expressed his hope that the next day was going to be a good day with the current. When the boy asked where he would be going, the old man replied that he would go out into the stream very far, and he wanted to be out before it was light. This is a summary of this part. Now, the principle of help opens the second part of the story, which is always started up by the boy's wish to offer materialistic or spiritual help. When he said, I would like to go, if I cannot fish with you, I would like to serve in some way. The old man continues his spiritual lessons with the boy just to implant the necessary confidence in the boy's personality. When he said, you bought me a beer, the old man said, you are already a man. This shows the element of equality between the two to make such relationship very successful. Now, when the boy asked the old man about the past, he was deliberately trying to make him forget his unfortunate present, which can be considered as a spiritual enhance, and the boy at the same time felt that the situation now in the terrace is not welcomed by Santiago, especially when the other fishermen started mocking him, which as the boy felt a necessary step to intrude to make the old man forget about them. The boy in fact knows the answer to the question directed to the old man when he asked him about the past experience, but it was a source of energy for Santiago when he remembers his successful and fortunate past. And this is the entire aim behind the boy's clever attempts to put the old man in his past world. Now, the next paragraph, which is detailed answer rendered by Santiago, is full with sensory imagery. Sensory imagery, in simple terms, refers to the pictures or images that a writer helps to create in the reader's mind through the language that he or she uses. We have basically 7 types of images. Visual imagery, which is a matter of engaging the sense of sight. This is what we can see and includes visual descriptions. Physical attributes, just like the use of colors, size, shape, lightness and darkness, shadows, shade, are all parts of visual imagery. Gustorial imagery engages the sense of taste. This is what you can taste and includes the flavors. This can include the 5 basic tastes: sweet, salty, bitter, sour and umami, as well as the textures and sensations tied to the act of eating. The third type is tactile imagery, which is related to the sense of touch. This is what we can feel and includes textures and the many sensations a human being experiences when touching something. Differences in temperature is also a part of tactile imagery. And the fourth type is auditory imagery. Auditory engages the sense of hearing, and this is the way things sound. Literary devices such as onomatopoeia and alliteration can help create sounds in writing. The fifth type is of Lactory Imagery. Now it engages the sense of smell. Scent is one of the most direct triggers of memory and emotion, but can be difficult to write about. Since taste and smell are so closely linked, you'll sometimes find the same words, such as a sweet, used to describe both. Simile is very common in olfactory imagery because it allows writers to compare particular scent to common smells like dirt, grass, manure, or roses. 6. We have the kinesthetic imagery, which engages the feeling of movement. This can be similar to the tactile imagery but deals with more full body sensations such as those experienced during exercise, rushing water, flapping wings, pounding hearts are all examples of kinesthetic imagery. Now, organic imagery is the seventh type, is the image that arouses emotions when rendered. Sensory imagery, in fact, explores the 5 human senses: sight, sound, taste, touch, and the smell. Sensory imagery involves the use of descriptive language to create mental images. In literary terms, we have sensory imagery as a type of imagery. The difference is that sensory imagery works by engaging a reader's 5 senses. Any description of sensory experience or writing can be considered sensory imagery, describing how something tastes, smells, sounds, or feels, not just how it looks like, makes a passage or scene more alive, and it makes it come alive. Using a combination of imagery and sensory imagery arms the reader with as much information as possible and helps them create a more vivid mental picture of what is happening. Now, let's apply all such things to Hemingway's passage as said by Santiago and the boy in their interaction, which is initiated by Santiago's response to the boy's question: "How old was I when you first took me in a boat?" The response said by the oarsman: "5, and you nearly were killed when I brought the fish in, too green, and he nearly tore the boat to pieces." Can you remember? I can't remember the tail slapping and banging and the thwart breaking, the noise of the clubbing. I can't remember you throwing me into the bow where the wet coiled lines were and feeling the whole boat shiver and the noise of you clubbing him like chopping a tree down and the sweet blood smell all over me. Can you remember that, or did I just tell it to you? Remember everything from when we first went together. In fact, the quote shows that Santiago starts right away with the kinesthetic image, which is directly related to the movement of the big fish in the boat, which was about to kill the boy. The oarsman also uses a visual image when he describes the color of the fish, green. So Santiago's memory of his past is still clear and long. As the oarsman refers to the fish as enemy, when he calls it he, referring to the intention of damage of the boat and the external struggle between the oarsman and the fish. Then the boy interacts with the oarsman about that great fight struck in his memory. The auditory image here being mixed with the kinesthetic image related to the movement and hearing. I can't remember the tail slapping and banging and the thwart breaking and the noise of the clubbing. The tail movement is kinesthetic. And this kinesthetic image produces a sound of slapping and banging, resulting in the noise of a clapping, which is an oral image at the same time. Then another sensory image is presented, now related to the feeling of to tactile sense, as the use of wet and feeling makes this image very clear. I can remember you throwing me into the bow where the wet coiled lines were and the feeling the whole boat shiver. The sentence also implies the movement image kinesthetic when the boy wants to show how powerful the old man was. I can remember you throw me into the bow. The verb throw is the gist of the kinesthetic image. The next sentence now comprises two extra mixed images, kinesthetic and auditory, now enhanced by the simile used by the boy, which produces such structure to praise the old man's powers and endurance. The noise of you clapping him like chopping a tree down. Hearing, and the two other verbs following, clubbing and chopping, are related to the idea of bodily fight, which also result in producing a sound of beating and cutting. The paragraph closes with a mixed use of imagery, which is now related to the idea of Lactory and Gustorial. The sweet blood smell all over me. The adjective sweet is directly related to the sense of taste, and the smell concerns the sensory of Lactory image. All such images presented are to make clear how Santiago was once a very lucky and successful one in the past, as well as how strong he was. The boy's purpose of such a presentation of the dialogical interaction is to help Santiago forget the present and to set aside the other fishermen's mockery. The narrator is not fully objective now if I am talking about the narrative technique in this particular paragraph or the other coming paragraphs within the same topic of the interaction between the boy and Santiago. He is not fully objective or external to the narration. Sometimes he moves into Santiago's mind or heart to disclose a feeling or belief or plan. This can be sensed when the narrator narrates, "The old man looked at him with his sunburned, confident, loving eyes." The expression confident, loving eyes shows that the narrator evaluates the type of look, which is a perspective from the inside of the character, not from the outside. The old man's understanding trait is once again shown in the following interaction. "If you were my boy, I'd take you out and gamble," he said. "But you are your father's and your mother's, and you are in a lucky boat." Materialistic help is offered by the boy next to this interaction when he said, "May I get the sardines? I know where I can get 4 baits too." Another principle of successful relationship is exploitation. It is a new one, right? The old man never exploits the boy. This can be shown in the following response to the boy's offer. "May I get the sardines? I know where I can get 4 baits too." The old man answers, "I have mine left from today." It means a matter of being unlucky because he hasn't caught anything. "I put them in salt in the box. Let me get 4 fresh ones." "One," the old man said. His hope and his confidence had never gone, but now they were freshening as when the breeze rises. "2," the boy said. "2," the old man agreed. "You didn't steal them, right?" This is a question. In this type of interaction, the narrator once again intrudes to be subjective and evaluative in his judgments about the old man's personality. When he said, "He was too simple to wonder when he had attained humility, but he knew he had attained it, and he knew it was not disgraceful, and it carried no loss of a true pride." The adjectives simple and disgraceful, as well as the nouns humility and the pride, put the narrator in the evaluative and subjective position of narration. It seems that the old man's mood dramatically changed from being gloomy into someone hopeful, and the reason can be attributed to the boy's previous attempts to revive Santiago's energy when talking about his past. Tomorrow is going to be a good day with this current, he said. This is said by Santiago just because of now he feels very optimistic after talking about his past and remembers how successful he was in the past, which is now a source of energy for the present. And the boy succeeded in making the old man revive his energy and flourishing his power. Thank you for listening, and this is everything about lesson number 2.